here, making sure we're recording. And again, I've got a screen open over here that I'm watching. So, and I'm checking on Facebook to make sure we are good to go. And okay, so today it's 12 o'clock. And so today what I'm going to do is I have taught a webinar and done a training multiple times on the niche. And I've called it everything from, hey, Julie, I've called it everything from potential to pain. I've called it, why you don't need a niche. So I don't know, I've done this webinar and this training, this slide deck multiple times. And so I've taken out, because I don't want to do a whole slide deck presentation. The point of this training is to support you, answer questions, talk about why I think the niche is paralyzing coaches and practitioners today. So when I pull the slides up and I start them, I'm just going to touch on a couple things to get the dialogue going and the conversation going. So I see over 20 people hopping on, and I see one person telling me who they are and what they do. So I want to know this, you guys. I want to know, what your thoughts are about the niche. What were you told that you had to do in regards to get started in your business when it came to knowing who you're serving? And things like that. I want to know about you. That's the point of being a mentor and an educator to health coaches, is that I get to continually help you guys move forward when I know what your struggles are. That's the important part for me. Without knowing what you're dealing with or what you're struggling with, I can't continue to help in the best way that I know how. So for those of you who don't know me, I am Carmen Hunter. I'm the founder of the Institute for Functional Health Coaching, and I'm also the creator of the Health Coach Mentorship and Mastery Group, which is where we are getting it done. This is a group that is on Facebook and also out in our platform on ClickFunnels, where we have business building documents, we have support, we have experts and webinars and live training that I mentor every single day in that group. So it's where I live. Health coaching and helping health coaches is my address online. It's where I live. It's where I set up my residence. It's what I love to do. So, I've been in health coaching for almost 8 years. I've been mentoring health coaches for 5 years or more now. And one of the things that has repeatedly come up and did come up with me when I first started coaching was, who are you talking to? Who is your audience? How do you reach people? It was always one of those things that I heard too, that if you don't know who you're talking to, how can you get it? How can you get business and new clients? If you don't know what your elevator pitch is, how are people going to know what you do? It was all of these things coming at me about making sure I narrowed it down. And so I've been there. I've been that person that's tried to do this. I've had, when I first got started, the reason I got into this is because I have Hashimoto's, I have autoimmune thyroid problems, and figured out that I could help other people to have a healthier, happier life because I found my way through it as well. And so that became a focus and a niche. But then I realized the more that I started training and talking about and mentoring and helping clients through thyroid problems, that I was going deep with every single one of them and saying, okay, now we know that you have this because a doctor actually diagnosed you, but why do you have it? And what is the problem? Where did it come from? What's the trigger for you? Because it's different for everyone. So then I thought, well, the thyroid needs the hormones to convert in the gut. So I'm going to focus on the gut. So the gut will lead to the thyroid. So I started to focus a little bit more and niche into gut problems because it was related to so many other issues, autoimmunity and endocrine problems and depression and all anxiety, all that. So I started to lean into that as a niche. And then I thought, but why is the gut having problems, right? So every time I tried to niche it down to create a focal point for what I wanted to do and who I wanted to speak with and help, it became, it took me deeper on the issues. And what I was finding out, you guys, and I'm hoping to help you see this as well, is that the more I narrowed my niche down, the less people I was able to help and the less people that I was attracting into my business. So what that looked like was, I might have someone that says to me, I don't have thyroid problems, but I have this problem. Are you willing or able to help me with that? And I'd be like, yeah, so wait a minute real quick before I continue. Can you guys hear me okay? Because I can't hear you. Can you hear me? You obviously can, because I've asked you to. Okay, good. Yeah, I asked you guys to put some comments in the chat and tell me who you are and all of that. And then someone says no audio. So if you are struggling with audio, you guys log out, log back in. That should fix the problem. And just FYI, for those of you who are watching on the live stream, put your questions on Facebook. For those of you who are on the webinar, put your questions in here on the Q&A. I'm happy to answer anything. That's what this is for today. I have no deadline to end. So, I don't want to be on all day, but I want to answer all your questions. So if anything happens with my signal and I drop off, stay put, because on Zoom, all I have to do is log back in. So if a signal drops or something happens that's crazy and I disappear, don't hang up and think it's over. It's not. I will come right back on as soon as I get a signal. Okay. All right. So back to what I was saying about people coming to me when I was focused on thyroid and asking me for help with specific other problems. I would sit there and be like, well, I'm focused on thyroid. And then I thought, well, that's stupid. I know how to help this person with this problem too. Then it happened with the same thing with digestion. Well, I don't think I have digestive issues, but I'm dealing with this problem. And I'm like, oh my God, why would I ever like niche into something that would turn away business for me and turn away help for other people? It didn't make sense to me. And very quickly, early on in my business, I realized that every person or human being with a heartbeat or problem that wants to improve their health is my niche. Okay, so what that means and what that looks like is anyone with a problem and that came to me was someone that I could help. Anyone that had an issue, I could help. Like, it didn't matter what was wrong with them. So because I developed an approach for every single person, which is what the school is founded on, is that every person that I worked with, I was recognizing and seeing everyone needed help with these specific 7 things. At the time it was 5, but now it's 7 because I noticed that we would hit roadblocks and there were still these 2 pieces missing. But back then it was like, well, there's 5 essential things everybody needs, whether it's thyroid, digestion, depression, skin problem, doesn't matter. I'm going to give them the same template for care to get started that I'm going to give everyone else. So why would I say, nope, I only help with the thyroid. No, I only help with digestion. No, I focus purely on people who want to deal with hormone stuff. Nope, it's weight. So I'm trying to be really clear on this, you guys. I tried to niche, and every time I tried to niche, I lost business. And I did not have as many people inquiring. I felt like I was not helping as many people as I could. That's where my process came into play, that I was wanting to make sure that I was able to expand my reach, bring in more clients, make more money, speak to a larger audience, and make a bigger impact. And when I dropped the idea that I had to have one focal point for a niche, business exploded. Things changed and shifted significantly. So, and I've got 3 dogs and a kid home today. So it's summertime, you guys. Bear with me if anything comes up where I got to tell the dog to be quiet or whatever. Okay, so let me check in on Facebook and see if you guys are hearing me okay. It looks like we're good. I think we're good on Facebook. So I'm just going to get rolling. So let me play this real quick. I'm going to play this. Hold on a minute. Oh, I hate when that happens. So I'm going to share my screen, and you guys tell me on the Zoom in the chat when you see my screen. Okay, so hold on just a second. So I'm just going to run through these slides quickly because I don't want to make this the focal point of today, because I want to have a conversation with you guys. All right, can you see? If you are on Zoom, can you see No Niche, No Problem? If you can see the slide deck, I'm going to roll through it really quick. And yes, awesome. Thank you, Donna. I appreciate it. All right, Tracy, Linda, thank you guys. Okay, I'm going to go back to the chat and look at where everybody's coming from and everything too. So let's go ahead and let me hit play, and let's just run through these real quick. So No Niche, No Problem was the last one that I called it, How to Coach Without a Niche and Be Successful. I've already introduced myself. We're not going to go through this. This is an old deck. So I'm just going to remind you guys that everything I'm talking about here today, I am the coach that wants you to be the coach that you are. So what I share with you is not to be taken as Bible. It's not to be taken as, oh, this is how it's supposed to be done. There's way too much of that going on right now where people are saying, whatever school that you go to or your certification comes from, that this is the way you're supposed to do it and it's set in stone. What I do is I give you ideas. I give you things to think about. I want you to stir up that creative thought process in yourself and be the coach that you are, not the coach that I am. Build your business around what feels good to you. So I always have to say the disclaimer here. This is just education. It's based on my experience. Do what you want. Do what feels good to you. Create the business that you love based on the things that you feel good about and the decisions that you make. Okay? So with that said, what does the niche mean? And some people say niche. I'm not fancy, so it's niche. Okay? I'm a Tennessee girl. It's niche. The definition is the situation in which a business's products or services can succeed by being sold to a particular kind or group of people. So it doesn't say, a person has to focus in on one specific detailed thing to be successful. It's basically saying products or services, which you are your product and you are your service, okay? You are the walking billboard for yourself. When it says a particular kind or group of people, you can see that as people who want to improve their health, people who want to optimize their health, people who want to get rid of specific symptoms or problems, people who want to have a healthier life. That is a particular kind or group of people, okay? All right, so other definitions of the niche you're gonna hear when you're being marketed to: your target market, your target audience, your followers on social media, your peeps in your tribe. That's your niche. Those are the people that are looking for you. And I always say, these are the people that every time you post something, or when you do something live, or you're training, or you're putting out classes, these are the people that are like soaking everything up you say like a sponge, okay? Because they believe in you, they trust you, they want to know more of what you have, they want more of what you offer. All right. All right. So does this sound familiar? Tell me if you guys have thought this or felt this. Put it in the chat, put it in the comments on Facebook. I want to focus on, and it could be insert anything, the immune system, but everything starts with the gut. Where do I start? I want to focus on the thyroid, but everything starts with your food. Where do I start? Okay, so just, you can replace words here. But everyone's saying, I want to focus on specifically this. Where do I start? Okay, so this is a sign right here. If you are saying something like this to yourself, I want to focus on A, but everything starts with B, that means that B is affecting A. So why would you focus on A? Okay, that's already starting the process of going down the rabbit hole of all of the other things that are out there to work on. Okay, I want to work with clients with thyroid disease, but it can come from so many things. How do I start with the thyroid, or the things that cause it? Where do I start with that? I mean, that's a true rabbit hole. So I have written an ebook on the thyroid. And when I wrote that book, it took me a very long time, because I would start out thinking I had all of the things in line that I wanted to educate my clients and coaches now, because it's a book that coaches use. But with this particular idea, and I'll use conversion of T4 to T3 in the liver. So that's where I want to focus. And then I thought, oh my gosh, well, it happens in the gut too. And then it happens in other tissues, and it happens in the thyroid. But what affects it? Well, it's affected by low stomach acid. It's affected by stress, which is affected by this. You can't just focus on the thyroid. You have to focus on all the things that are around it. And so when we think about that, you can insert any disease here. I want to work with clients with Crohn's. I want to work with clients with ulcerative colitis. I want to work with clients with Sjögren's syndrome, or Sjögren's, however you say that, syndrome, autoimmunity. But it comes from so many things. Where do I start? You can put anything in there, but you're always going to have to start with what the basic things a human being needs, okay? All right, keep going. Anytime I try to think of a niche, I don't know it. I worry I don't know enough about the subject, so I change it. Well, of course, because it's always changing. You can learn everything you want to know about plantar fasciitis of the foot, and the next week that comes around, PubMed's going to put something else out there that says that histamines can affect the fascia in the foot. I mean, I'm making this up, but you guys, you're constantly, if you constantly think that you don't know enough and you are paralyzing yourself in that way, then you're never going to move forward, because things are always going to change. So I always say, stop thinking that you're going to become the end-all be-all expert in any topic in health, because something's always going to come around the corner and change that, okay? I want to help so many people with so many things, I can't make up my mind. Well, then help everyone, right? Help everyone, because everyone needs the same things. All right, is this stuff sounding familiar? Has anybody thought of these things? Has any of this crossed your radar before? Anybody thought of these things before? Okay, I created all my marketing around weight loss, and then I changed my mind. This has crossed me a million times. I've seen health coaches set up their entire business around a niche. Their website speaks about it. Their content speaks about it. Their classes talk about it. That's all they talk about, is that particular topic. And then all of a sudden, one day they wake up and realize there's so much more than just weight loss. We have the reasons for weight loss, the triggers for insulin resistance, the hormone imbalance, the self-sabotage, the unhealthy relationships, the trauma. So weight loss in itself is a niche, but the person that's dealing with the plateau around weight loss, or the inability to lose it, has 6,000 other problems underneath that. So when you focus on weight loss, are you also going to talk to them about the insulin resistance? Are you going to talk about the hormones? Well, then you're learning all of that. So if someone came to you and said, you know what, I can't lose this weight, I've got this belly fat, I don't know what the problem is, I've done everything, you're like in your head, you're like, oh my gosh, I know that that could be potentially insulin resistance, but I work on weight loss, so I'm not going to help with that. Okay. Are you guys tracking me on this, on how the niche can paralyze you and stop you from being successful, right? Okay. All right. That's just a small sample of what I see. I could go on and on and on about all of the things that coaches are saying in their head about having to have this niche. All right. So yes, it's all kind of around the idea that if you don't have a niche, you cannot market your business properly. And this has been told to you by online marketers and people who are experts in marketing. I'm not an expert in marketing. I loathe it. I have an expert marketer. She saves me daily. She helps my business every day because it's not something I'm an expert in. But I do know this. I know from experience, and I know from split testing, and I know from looking at the way that business is being done with coaches right now that I've been mentoring and the way that I've done it, is that if you focus in too tightly, you shut out a wider audience. Okay, you're shutting the door on people who could absolutely need you, who want to work with you, and see that you only do this, so maybe you don't do this, or oh, it looks like she does that, but I don't think she can help me with this. You don't even see those people. They don't show up on your business page. They don't show up in your groups. They don't buy from you because they don't think that you can help them because you are marketing that you only do this. Make sense? Tell me if I'm making sense, because if I'm not, I need to be more clear. Okay, so you've been told you have to have a niche to market your business. A human being is a niche. A niche is the only way to grow to your audience quickly. That is absolutely not true. I've seen people with a very fine-tuned niche that has absolutely no followers and no email lists. Knowing your target audience makes it easier to deliver value. Yes, I agree that that's truth. And some of these hold truth to some extent. But it's really only about what you're being told and that you haven't been told anything differently. Okay? So, a niche might be important for someone that is honed in on a specific thing in their life, like insurance. If you sell insurance, you're not going to go, well, I sell insurance, but I also am a gluten-free bakery owner and I sell that too. Okay. Like it makes sense specifically. If you're a doctor that works with people with the endocrine system, and I know that some of you have gone through this and dealt with this. Hang on a second. We've run into this before, and this is just another thing that just came to me just this moment that reminds me of how, when we tunnel into this one area of focus, how it can be harmful. Doctors, they are focused very, deeply in on specific topics. Very helpful for people in the emergency room to have a doctor that's skilled in emergency, right? Not so helpful to be a person with a thyroid problem that goes to an endocrinologist that doesn't understand how toxins and food affect our thyroid. Their niche is the thyroid. They're going to give you Synthroid. They're going to tell you what the thyroid does. They're going to tell you it's going to burn out. They're going to give you a pill, and you're going to live on that for the rest of your life. That's been told to me 1,000 times. What if I went to a doctor that said to me, you know what? It's not called a niche in medical practice, but it's still the same thing. My specialty, or I'm an expert, my specialty is in the thyroid. I'm a doctor that specializes in the thyroid. But I do believe that the thyroid is affected by these specific things. So I'm going to help you with those too. Isn't that a better idea, or something that feels better to you if you were a patient that walks into a practitioner's office, right? That you're there with someone that's an expert in that topic, but they're thinking outside the box as well. It's very much the same thing when a client comes to you. If you don't have a specified niche out there and they say to you, I'm struggling with my weight. I really haven't been able to lose this last 10 pounds. It's getting me down. I feel like I'm sabotaging myself every day. You would say to them, pretend you're that doctor, right? Even though you're not, but think about the example I just gave you. But you would say, you know what? I absolutely understand that it can be defeating to not lose that weight, and I get it. And I am a weight loss expert. However, I also know a lot about these other things that can cause this problem. So I'm going to help you to uncover those things as well. That's a health coach that says, I hear you, I see you, I understand, and I know a lot about that topic, but there's a reason that that's happening. And every human being is affected in the same way when they don't have these 7 essentials taken care of. So we're going to go after those 7 essentials, and we're going to watch the weight fall off or decrease as we move through these problems that are causing that plateau or that problem. Okay, does that make sense? So in other words, yeah, you can be an expert in weight loss. Absolutely, of course you can. You can be an expert in thyroid. You can be an expert in skin. But You have to understand what every human being needs to be able to address those particular problems. And that means having a wide range of knowledge on everything that a human being needs to even get started to go after the weight loss or the depression or the problem that they're dealing with or the goal that they want to achieve. All right, so let me take a break real quick here and just let me take a peek at the chat. Let's see here. Yes. Okay. So Julie says, I'm a prospective new IFHC coach. The topic sounds interesting. I'm from Georgia. Excellent. One of my team members is from Georgia. Kimberly is from Saskatchewan. I'm always afraid I'm going to say that wrong. Canada. I'm a health coach and a newbie. Everything I hear says you need to niche down. I feel like it's slowing me down a lot. I'm so glad you joined the membership site. Woohoo. Yes. Any questions you have, put them in the membership site. I love to hop in and do things just like this. Hold on. My phone is ringing. Okay. So I'm glad you're there. I'm here to support you. All of us are here to support you. And you're absolutely right. The niche can weigh you down. It can make you feel like you're just not able to move forward and your head is spinning around. You have all this knowledge, but you're not taking it and doing anything with it because you can't figure out how to explain yourself or to market yourself and whatnot. Vicki, I was told I needed a niche, certified for 4 years, had one free client. Well, we need to stop that and get you moving to paid clients. You need to be helping people. That's the point of this. I think the niche has actually stopped so many of us from, getting out there and actually doing what we love as health coaches. Hi, Karen from Maine, and Ralda. I don't see last names, but I am FMHC. I don't have a niche. I just help people have a better lifestyle by changing food and lifestyle. Absolutely. I hope, Karen, you got your audio fixed. Holistic nutrition is starting to build my business. Having a niche is drilled into us, and I find this super frustrating. I have Hashimoto's too, a lengthy, healthy story. We all have that story, Sarah. Welcome to the club, or not, a club I wish that you weren't in, and me either. Having problems narrows down who I want to serve. Yes. Well, you serve everyone because everybody needs the same thing, and I'm going to get to teaching you how to do that here in a few minutes. Illinois, relatively new. Hi, Tracy. Tracy's a student with the Institute. The niche had me troubled, but you changed my way of thinking. I'm now comfortable talking with everyone using the safe language you taught us and the steps. Yay. Absolutely. Simone, thank God. Here I am thinking I'm a super freak because I haven't defined. No, I so agree. You're not a super freak. You're a smart freak, just like me. Okay. Yes, absolutely. And Simone says, absolutely lately. I don't know what that means. Lutely, I think is what she meant. Hi, Barbara. Okay. So Barbara says she's a brand new coach. All she keeps hearing, she needs a niche. I'm hoping you have some insight that will get you started working with actual clients. Yay. Yes. Okay. Okay. That's the plan. So sadly, I work with coaches who have stopped coaching because they believe the niche myth, which I just kind of gave a little example of, is some people that are struggling to figure this out. So stopping coaching is the last thing that you should do when you don't have a niche. The last thing you should do, okay? And I'll tell you why in a minute. So here are the problems that result. We're almost done with the slides, and we're going to get into questions and conversation. But so the problems that you're going to run into from niche seeking, the topics in health are mind-blowing and way too many. How do you pick one area, right? There's so many conditions and goals in health depending on other variables, immune system, gut, thyroid, gluten. We have a gray area in health coaching. We need to watch our backs legally, and the more focused and customized we get, the thinner the line is to cross, you guys. So what if you pick one target market and change your mind? What if you put all your eggs in one basket and make your audience smaller and leave out those potential clients? So these are the problems you're going to face, or probably are facing, as you start to build your business, or you're already in your business, as evidenced by people who have been a coach for 4 years and don't even have clients. Many times it's because they feel like they have to speak to one person. Okay. I want to go back a little bit to this top, and I'm pointing at my screen like you guys can see me pointing at the at the statement. I do this in my classes all the time. I'm always like pointing and nobody's over here. But so let's go back to the second one down here. So many conditions and goals in health depend on other variables. Okay. This is the thing. Anybody comes to you. You can give me 10 problems, conditions, topics, goals, and issues. 10 different people with 10 different problems. The approach is the same. Because if you start customizing each one of these people according to what's happening in what they've been diagnosed with or what their goal is, you start to enter that area of customized health coaching. But if you address every single one of them as a human being that needs the same things, all 10 of them need the 7 essentials. And these are what the foundation of the school is built on, because I have tried to take away even one of the 7 essentials, and it ends up where that person may have a problem there. So we're talking about, You know, whole food is what it is, as looks like what it is. It's not food in a box, right? We all know that. But that's also not the number one place to start when you help people. Fun, safe movement, not exercise that's killing someone to try to lose weight. In fact, some people are over exercising and that's causing them to gain weight, and people are not educating people on this. We're talking about optimizing sleep. We're talking about how we see stress. The perception of stress is number one, in my opinion, not food. Stress perception is number one when working with clients. Spirituality and trauma. All right, so we have 7 things that every single person can benefit from or that can sabotage them. So think about a client that you've helped. Just think about a client that you've helped recently. Now think about all of the things, and I'm talking about a deep dive, not a one-off client where you just see what they've eaten and give them some suggestions. I'm talking about someone who has so many problems that on the intake form it's flipped over and they've written on the back, and I've got this and I've diagnosed with this and I'm dealing with this and this problem, this. So all 7 of those things have a place in what's happening with that person. So that person needs to sleep to optimize recovery and repair. Notice how I don't say heal or cure. I don't use those words, and you shouldn't either if you're just a coach, okay? That person needs to optimize their sleep. That person needs to be moving their body in a way that feels good to them, that doesn't overtax them or make them feel more tired or stress them out. That person needs to look at changing their food in a way that doesn't make them feel like they're sinking $10,000 into food every time they grocery shop, something that feels very low stress. They need to be having a lot more fun in their life, because without fun, all we do is sit and ruminate on all the things that are wrong with our lives. They need to be working on that stress perception that I talked about, because you can't manage it and you can't change it unless you kick your kids and your husband out and you move into an ashram somewhere in Bali. I mean, you can't manage it and you cannot reduce it unless you make significant changes to your life. And that can affect other things in your life as well. So I always say we need to help our clients see stress differently. Then of course, if they've had any trauma that's unresolved, and I'm talking about, you've got these people. I know a girl actually right now, she's got two severe autoimmune conditions. And she has a lot going on in her life. And she says, I have absolutely had no trauma in my life whatsoever. I know for a fact that all of the deaths that she's seen, all of the things that she's been through with her family, all of that have to be playing a part in that. But she's in denial about that. So I'm talking about trauma that your body knows about or your client's body knows about, but maybe your mind is not bringing it to the surface to be a priority to take care of it. Everybody has something, unless you're Jesus. And look at all the trauma he went through. But I mean, do you see what I'm saying? Like, think about the trauma that people go through just by being born. If you're in utero, your client's in utero, and the mother is going through significant emotional distress, that gets transferred to the baby and can affect that person in their health 30, 40, 50 years later. Trauma is essential to look at. And if it's something that someone denies having, there's ways around that too. Then of course we have spirituality. I don't care if you sit and meditate. I don't care if you go to church and you praise Jesus. It doesn't matter to me. If your clients don't have a higher power, that's a problem. Okay. Even if it's just God and the universe or the universe itself, it doesn't matter to me what the higher power is. If your client doesn't have something bigger than themselves, that means that they are placing themselves in that position of higher power, and they have no faith and no belief that anything can get better beyond themselves. That's a problem. With those 7 things focused in on these, it's a human being, every human being, you're going to see changes in someone's health, period, across the board, absolutely no doubt. Okay? Is that making sense to everybody? All right. So trying to determine your niche can make you feel crazy. And so I am asking you to consider dropping the idea that you have to have one. Just think about it. That makes you nervous. It's okay, because we're going to get to the part here in just a second about what it means to drop the niche. The exciting part about that is that if your goal is to work with a human being, you already have a niche, a target market, an audience of your peeps, your tribe. If they've got a heartbeat, they're a potential client, period. And I don't even limit it to human beings, right? Because I know that a lot of health coaches work with animals too. And the way we actually talked about this in class yesterday at the start of the call, how animals pick up on our energy. So when something happens to our animals, you know, it can be reflected in us in our health. So I never just say just human beings, but that's me because I'm an animal lover and a rescuer and all that good stuff. But I like to think outside the box, okay? So every person that enters your world, if they want to be a better version of themselves, if they want a healthier body, if they want to reach some goals, they are a potential client, period. So how does a human being translate into being the niche? So I'm going to bring up the 7 essentials because I feel like I'm going to slide it across the board here in just a second, because I know someone's going to say, can you repeat those? But just remember that in order to have that healthier, happier, better life, I want you to think about yourself. If one of those pieces was missing from your life, be it fun, be it movement, be it, you know, having too much stress, be it not sleeping well, if one of those things was missing from your life, you would have areas in the other pieces of your life that would not be optimal. You would. Think about it. Think about a day where you've woken up and the first thing that you say to yourself is, I didn't sleep enough last night. That starts your day off. First of all, that's a negative thought. You should never start your day with a negative thought. But again, you're already giving the message to your body, I'm tired, you're tired, we didn't sleep enough, this is going to affect our day. The whole day is going to be affected by that one thought and that one behavior that you didn't get enough sleep, okay? Think about this. Think about working for an entire month and not having one day where you've had any joy, no going out to dinner, no fun with friends, nothing. You're going to start to feel a heaviness. You're going to start to feel bitter. You're going to start to wonder if this is all there is to life. So do that through the 7 essentials for yourself so that you can think about what it means for your clients, okay? So I always encourage everybody to, you know, that has my intake form and all that, I always tell them, fill it out as if you were your client. And this is the same thing I say here. Every human being needs the 7 essentials. Think about yourself first. Then you can transfer that into working with your clients. So a client that comes to you with a specified goal or problem probably is not even aware that that problem could be exacerbated, can be diminished, can be whatever by focusing on these things, okay? So when your basic needs, and that's what these are the basic needs, you guys. This is not anything woo-woo, and it's nothing groundbreaking. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. It's already in you and it's in your clients. We just need to bring this to the surface. So I preach this in every, you know, in all of my classes and in my mentorship, always return to the 7 essentials. If a client comes to you and says, you know, I've got this problem, and you're like, I don't even know where to begin. It's so much. Go here. Start here. This is where you start. Don't start throwing supplements and elimination plans and labs and all of the stressful things at them. Start here. If you start with your basics, that client's going to be like, that is manageable. Yes, I can go for a walk for 10 more minutes a day. Yes, I can consider getting some therapy for what I never knew was such a traumatic experience. Yes, I can consider reaching out to the nearest ashram and going to meditate once a week. These are easy things. Elimination diets and plans and labs and all of that stuff, that's the stressful stuff that's not so easy, okay? So we want to make this really, you know, as low stress as possible when we're working with people. We want to know that whatever we are doing to walk them through what they're trying to accomplish or achieve feels like something that is, you know, exciting, a little bit nervous. Maybe they're a little nervous, but excited and nervous at the same time. Not completely stressed out, hopeless, and feeling like this is going to break the bank, emotionally destroy them, and cause problems in their marriage. Okay? I've seen it 1,000 times. I've worked with hundreds of clients. I understand this way too well to tell you that there's any other way to think about this. Because when you do this, you guys, when you start with basics, it feels manageable to people. All right? And let's be realistic. So how many people are following a plan that's remotely close to healthy? How many people that come to you are actually even beginning in the starting phases of doing anything that's healthy? Many times they're like, well, I eat clean and I run 7 days a week. That's not healthy, right? Running 7 days a week when your body's in poor conditions, that's not healthy. Eating clean is something, again, I talked about this, I think yesterday or the day before. To me, most people don't have any idea. They think getting a cookbook that works with whole grains is eating clean when they have no idea how much inflammation comes from specific foods. So, you know, when people come to me, I like to tell them, I want you to wipe the slate clean of everything you think you know about health. And if you're married to anything in your life right now that you're doing and you're not willing to think about changing for the betterment of your health, I'm probably not the coach for you and we don't need to work together. I'm here when you're ready, but I'm not going to take someone on that's completely married to a way of thinking and a way of living that I can see already before even getting started with them is causing their problems. All right. So when we start with the small steps, then they start to feel accomplished. So, think about it like this. When someone starts out on, some of those crazy multi-level marketing plans where they lose a bunch of weight because they're eating bars and shakes and they're taking supplements. All right. Okay. They're excited. They lose the first 5 pounds in the first week. It's, oh my gosh, it's motivating. Right. And they continue until they hit a plateau because that stuff's junk for the most part. Excuse me if I'm offending you. I'm not trying to offend you. I just have never seen anyone that has sustained a multi-level marketing lifestyle. That's my disclaimer. Back to reality here. You can do the same thing and see the same results by helping someone to make changes to those 7 specific areas. So an example would be, let's pick this chick right here down in the lower right-hand corner who's got her hand on her forehead and she looks depressed and tired. Well, that guy looks more exhausted, but well, let's work on the guy. Let's do the guy because he's a perfect example of what I was going to explain. I'm going to use sleep for an example. Let's take this guy who is laying awake and it's 1 o'clock in the morning. He hasn't been able to fall back to sleep. He finally dozes off only to be startled right back awake at 3:30 in the morning. He's tired. He goes to work. He tries to go to the gym and he continues to put on weight and he starts to get even more exhausted. Now, this man comes to us. We're a health coach. Let's say we're the health coach that doesn't practice 7 essential steps. He comes to us. We automatically say, well, we need to do an adrenal test. Let's see what's going on with your adrenal. His adrenals are crapped out. He's wide awake, okay? I don't know if my picture's showing up right there for you guys. I'm going to move me down. He's wide awake in the middle of the night. Of course, his adrenals are screwed up. I mean, why would you put a $200 test or whatever on a guy that isn't sleeping? Cortisol will be messed up in that case. And then let's say he's like, well, I can't lose this weight. Well, let's get you exercising. Let's get you moving. That'll make you more tired at night and that'll help you sleep. No. How about we do this? Let's see if you're actually living like a human being should be living, how we've been evolved to live, from getting up in the morning and doing the most of our work and thinking in hard, activities that take the most energy when our cortisol is the highest. And let's take this man and let's say, I know you're going to be exhausted at 6 o'clock in the morning, but the sun rate, comes up around 5:15-ish or whatever. Let's get you up as close as we can to the sun coming up. Let's open up the blinds and expose your eyes to light. Let's get outside in the sun for 5 minutes. And let's start starting that cortisol at the right time it's supposed to be high. Then we're going to take this guy and we're going to say, I know it's going to be really hard for the first couple of days. And I want you to take a few breaks when you need to, take a few 10-minute naps if you need to. And then let's start winding your day down a little earlier. This is basic common sense, right? Without any tests, without any supplements, without any of this stuff that costs money and makes people go, oh, no, thank you. I'm not interested. That's way too much. Let's just get him living like a normal person with sleep and stress and changing some of those pieces. So as the day goes on, we're going to take this exhausted man and we're going to have him follow the sun. Sun starts to set later in the afternoon. Let's see if he can get home from work, shut his blinds, light some candles, turn on some amber light bulbs, and really start the process of dropping down that cortisol so that melatonin, which competes with cortisol, you guys, I'm sure many of you are like, okay, Carmen, we don't need this lesson. Some of you may need the lesson, some of you may not. But let's just say that as we help this man wind his day down, instead of going to bed at 11:30 at night, we ask him to go to bed at 11:15 on the first night, 11 o'clock on the next night, on 10:45 on the next night. We're going to start helping him to bring that melatonin in to suppress the cortisol so that his body can start to act like a human being's body again. We didn't throw supplements at him. We didn't throw tests at him. We're doing the basics. We are working on seeing this as a learning experience so he doesn't feel this stressed out. We are teaching him how the body actually works on a clock. And, we're really not doing much of anything but giving him some education and letting him make decisions for himself. So is this making sense for you guys? This is simple stuff. We're not doing anything groundbreaking here. We're just saying you have moved too far away from how a human being should live. We're going to bring these 7 essentials back in and help you live more like a human being. And whatever's left over after that, we'll go after that with labs and supplements and all that. And I'll give you some suggestions to take to your doctor. But let's start with this stuff first. Okay. All right. So let's see here. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to read straight over here from a slide that I've got. So I want you to think about, and then we'll move on to the next slide here. But let's think about 2 clients. You have client A that comes to you with stomach aches, depression. and you send them an elimination food plan. I don't say the word diet because I'm not a dietitian. They immediately go clean out their pantry, spend a few $100s on food, make their spouse and their child eat the same way they are with the changes. Everyone's pissed, honestly, about changing the food and overwhelmed and learning to cook so much. And that's the end of that week, right? Client B has stomach issues and depression, and you start them with a realistic discussion about, let's slowly think about moving things out that could be triggering some issues. Let's talk about darkening the bedroom and getting some more sleep and changing your clock a little bit. Maybe you can think about taking one thing out at a time that could potentially be causing your stomach problems. Which client do you think is going to stick with you, and which client do you think is going to feel low stress and see this as a sustainable change? Okay. All right. Almost done, guys. Almost done. So don't eat this, don't eat that. When we tell our clients what they can't have, it sets them up for failure. Always please focus on what they can have. And I know this isn't about the niche, but this kind of is, because too many people are saying, oh, my niche is the elimination diet and my niche is inflammation. You could be really causing a lot of problems for your clients by throwing way too many rules at them that don't fit into their life in this moment. So always focus on what they can have. Try not to throw that scary and overwhelming stuff in there, okay? So benefits of a simplified approach for everyone. You start with the 7 essentials with every person. They automatically will start to feel better. That's immediate goal achieving that I mentioned earlier. The improvements are going to trigger those hormone responses that carry that feeling of well-being. They're going to feel empowered and successful as these changes begin because they're making the decisions. You customize their plan according to individual challenges. It's still a general approach. But what you're doing here, and let me just explain this, a lot of people don't know what general approach is. If you're a practitioner, a dietitian, a nutritionist that's on, or a nurse or someone else, this doesn't really, I can't speak to your profession because I don't know enough about it and I don't claim to. I know that for health coaches, we have to be practicing a general approach. So that means that every single person that comes to you would be given the same information. So if two people come to you and they've both been diagnosed with, low stomach acid, let's just say that, you would treat those two people the same way by giving them the same resources. You would educate them on what causes low stomach acid. You would educate them with the same resources that helps to, remediate or fix it, fix the low stomach acid. And they would make a decision according to what feels good to them on that challenge or on fixing that problem, okay? But you're not going, okay, you take these 10 capsules of HCl with every meal that has protein. You take apple cider vinegar because that's what you need. That's customized coaching. That is way out of your scope. Keep your approach very general, okay? So another simplified approach reduces your risk and liability, again, with your general information. And then you're not cornered into a topic. And your audience is broader, okay? So there's absolutely no way, you guys, that people who don't make these small changes aren't going to feel better in some form or fashion. All right, say hello to a bigger audience because that's what's going to happen for you. You drop this idea, then every single person seeking help becomes a potential client. Every single person. I don't care if it's cancer or dental problems. Every person becomes a potential client. Every problem can be approached with these steps. Notice how I don't say healed or cured or fixed. No more focusing on one issue, okay? No more turning anyone away saying, well, I don't work on that problem, but I help with this problem, because the 7 essentials works on every problem. Clients actually start getting results faster because they're not doing all of these horribly stressful things that are financially, emotionally, and physically causing them stress and maybe harm. They're actually just doing the things that a normal human being would do. And then you get more referrals because you appeal to everyone. So this happened to me, okay? When I was first started coaching and someone said, this girl started achieving her weight started to fall off. She was really following a gluten-free lifestyle. She had come to me for the thyroid problem. And someone said, oh my gosh, you look fantastic. What have you been doing? She's like, I came to Carmen for my thyroid and she did all of this and this is what's happening. And that person's like, oh my gosh, well, you think she'd work with me? Of course. But if that person had just said, no, she only helped me with my thyroid, then that potential client would be like, oh, well, I don't have thyroid problems, which they probably did if they couldn't lose weight and they were depressed and tired. But the point is that we want those people talking about us because we are our walking billboard. We are our service and our product. We want people out there saying, Carmen helped me with this. I went to her for this, but she did all of this. Gave me all of this information. I made these changes and this is what happened. I felt better. I did this. Not only that, but the people in these clients' lives also benefit. The husbands, the children, the spouses. I can't tell you, I mean, about all the families that have benefited from the changes that the actual client put into place by just addressing what normal people need. All right. All right. When I get done with this, I'm going to get through these last couple slides. I'm going to hop on the chat and the Q&A and go back to the Facebook. But I know that this sounds too easy to be true, you guys, but it works. I know it works. I've done it over and over and over again, hundreds of clients over again. Okay. It works. What didn't work in the very beginning was customizing, stepping out of the safety zone, because I didn't realize there was one. There was no one to tell me that, unfortunately, 8 years ago. Was funneling into something too niche specific. I lost out on potential clients that way. That didn't work. So, you know, what happens when you approach it this way is you meet someone that wants your help. They have multiple symptoms or conditions or have goals they want to meet. You help them make changes starting on the basic human needs. They start feeling better and conditions and symptoms start improving. Whatever is left is the part you, and I use customize loosely because you're still generally approaching them, but then you approach that. So maybe a client comes to you and, you know, they go through all 7 essentials. I know this is going to be a question someone has, so I'm going to address it now. They come to you and they have this, you know, I've got a wedding in 8 months. I want to lose this weight. I need to fit into this specific dress. I am absolutely not going to get married unless I can. This is what I'm, you know, this person is, you know, you guys have watched Bridezilla. So people who get married can be a little crazy, but especially about their weight and the way they look and all of that. So let's say that person comes to you and that's their goal. And you get your intake form, which I highly recommend getting that ahead of time. Do your intake form research before you have your session. And that's a whole other training, and I'm going to focus on at some other point. But go to my website if you want to learn more about what that's about. instituteforfunctionalhealthcoaching.com. I offer an intake package system, one step by step. If you don't have it, you should be using something very similar. But anyway, they fill it out. I go through the intake form. I know in their mind the goal is to lose weight. I know in my mind that they're thinking I've got to fit in this specific dress, and they're very demanding about it. But I'm seeing on the intake form that they've got a handful of problems, that there's no way they're going to lose weight by that specific time just by exercise and movement. And so we go through that and I start helping them address the problems based on those 7 essential issues. We go through it. Let's say they start sleeping better. Let's say they start moving more appropriately. Let's say this. And then let's say at the end of the 2.5 months, I think 3 months is plenty of time. Let's say they're still like, I'm still carrying around an additional 5 pounds. And I'm still feeling really anxious and all of this. What can we do that's left? I'm like, okay, maybe we need to look at doing some labs work and to see maybe there's a little bit of insulin resistance left. Maybe, you know, this needs to, your hormones are out of whack because you're stressed. So that's where you say, let's get you to a doctor that can help you in a functional way and can look at these particular leftover symptoms, and let's uncover and go through the checklist of figuring that out. But you can be guaranteed that when you tell someone, you know, these 7 things we're going to start here, and they're going to start to see some real results, maybe start dropping weight or whatever. And you can say to them, it's a very low stress approach. Then at the end of this specific time frame, we're going to see what's left. We don't want to leap into anything because we could be making something worse that we don't even know about. So let's just start with being a person first. You're going to get someone that says, oh my gosh, that sounds so much more reasonable. Thank you so much. You're also going to get people that say, well, I've been interviewing health coaches and doctors, and every one of them says I need an elimination diet, and I need this, and I need this, and this. And that person is probably going to feel stressed and irritated. They wouldn't keep interviewing if someone had the answer. Okay? Be the answer, you guys. Be the low stress person that says, this is manageable, this is doable, let's go this direction. Okay? Almost done. So you may find your niche when you stop focusing on it so much. If you're someone that really thinks you got to have one, really, really want one, you know what? A niche isn't a bad thing. But if you're not coaching because you don't have one, that's a bad thing. Okay? If you set your business up around a niche and you don't like it, that's a bad thing. But if you're someone that really continues to see the same people coming your way over and over again, you can still use your 7 essentials and have that niche as your a la carte offering. Okay, so let me see here. Let's go. What about the marketing part? This is the last kind of piece about this. Don't I need to be specific about who I work with? Yes. So here's how it works. Be clear in your business name or your tagline. Let people know, if your business name, so I did this wrong too. And I love to tell people how wrong I've done everything, because that lets you know I'm not preaching to you. I'm not saying to do anything I haven't done or anything I haven't learned from. I made a big mistake with this, and I had a beautiful logo, and I loved the name of my business, but it was called Mindful Health and Wellness. And then the ever present question was always, what does that mean? And then it was like, well, shoot, you told me your website, but now I couldn't remember it when I walked away. So I changed Carmen Hunter Health. That means my name is Carmen Hunter, and I help you with your health. And it was very easy for people to remember, carmenhunterhealth.com. It was really easy for them to remember me, and the word health being in there, let them know that that's something that I help people with in general. Start people with, I help people who, instead of I help women with, or I help men who. So I help people. So this is, again, against everything you've heard. So taking out that I help women in their 40s who want to lose weight, and put in, I help people who have struggled for decades trying to overcome health issues. I help people who have reached a weight loss plateau, uncover the reasons. I help people who, whatever it is, create your own. Don't use mine. If you want to, go ahead. But who do you speak to? Okay. Be in mind, be mindful, typo, in your marketing of using terms that speak to people who you help. Okay. Just be mindful when you're using language in your writing and all of that, of people that speak to the people who are trying to accomplish goals and trying to feel better. You can use niche terms in your marketing as long as they are broad. Okay. So I'm looking over here. Again, another example. I help people move towards health and away from disease using whole food principles and lifestyle changes that feel good to them. Now, someone who has thyroid problems is going to be like, oh, yeah, that's me. Someone who wants to lose weight is like, oh, gosh, yeah, that's me too. Or someone who's like, I'm tired of these quick fixes. I want sustainable changes. Maybe that's, I help people make sustainable changes towards health and away from disease using a whole food lifestyle. You can play with words all you want. So when you market to people with statements like this, you could say, tired of being tired. I can help you uncover the source of your fatigue and guide you to make sustainable changes to have better sleep. So notice how you can sprinkle these basics in to your marketing. It doesn't have to be marketing specifically to that one thing, okay? Niche terms would be, I help people with thyroid hormone, digestive, and stress issues find the cause of problems and help them uncover the cause. This is a very broad term because those can be caused by any of the 7 essentials and addressed by changing things within them. So, bullet it out, whatever you need to do to be specific. But again, so taglines are also underrated, you guys. You can have a business name, Carmen Hunter Health. And then my approach, my tagline was your health coach with a functional approach. People are focusing way too much on what the business name is and forgetting that there's a big message blank underneath your name. Your business name is just your name. Make it easy for people to remember you. That speaks a little bit to what you do, but use that tagline underneath it that says, who you are and what you offer. I'm a health coach with a functional approach. I'm going to help you from head to toe, top to bottom, inside to out, figure out what's wrong and help you achieve your goals. Okay. All right. So that's the slide deck. That's the website if you want to check out everything else. It's instituteforfunctionalhealthcoaching.com, and I'm going to exit out of here. My face hurts from talking. Okay. So I'm going to go over here. Whoa, there's the chat. Let's go to the Q&A first, okay? So we are up on the hour already, and I know I'm a fast talker. Probably going to have some comments about how quickly I speak, but look at how much we covered, right? And you can always go back and listen to the recording. It'll live in the Clarity group. And for those of you who are students or mentorship members, I will load the recording into your library. All right, so, oh boy, I know this is going to sound horrible, but it's probably a beautiful name. And again, I'm so bad. Daleith Lowry. I hope I said that right. Certified naturopath, unable to practice naturopathy in the state I'm moving to. That sucks, but you can be a coach. So that's a good thing, is that the restrictions and regulations around health coaching are less as long as you know how to stay in your lane. So Daleith, I hope I said that right. Or Daleith? Daleith's so pretty. I'm sure it's beautiful. But anyway, so you're moving, but that doesn't mean the end of your career. You have so much knowledge and so much to offer. So please don't feel defeated by that. So Dixie says, how do people know that they should see you without a niche? I don't have a problem with it, but they do. They're used to searching out a specialist, and it's just so that people so that people know who to go to if that's their problem. Well, then you just tell them, say, you know, your problem can be approached with all of these. You're going to see significant changes in the way that you feel by addressing the basic human needs. And then what's left will then address your problem after that. Or you can say, you know, if you really want to go gung-ho on getting labs and all of that, I can help you in that direction. But what I do as a health coach is I help you see the big picture, and I help you with the basics so that maybe we don't have to, you don't have to get so many supplements and take so many, you know, eliminate so many foods and get so many labs done. Like, I'm going to help you with the underlying, you know, things that you need to be focused on, period, while we go after that main problem. If that makes any sense, Dixie. Yeah, so hold on a second. Let me look over here in chat too. Okay, where did I leave off? I left off after all of the yeses, I think. Hoping to have some insight. I think I answered that. Yes, okay. All right, same. One free client who lost 20 pounds already, but I never thought about going into weight loss but it worked. However, I felt confused. This is Kim saying, because I was like, shoot, now what? Should I switch to weight loss? Yeah. So you can go back and watch the beginning of the slides or whatever. But so if you helped, first of all, I hope that your free client gave you a video testimonial singing your praises. That microphone is getting on my nerves. I got to move it. Sorry. So how did you help that person lose 20 pounds? So break it apart, take it apart. Did you help them see food differently? Did you help them to relax about the idea of it? What went into helping that person lose that 20 pounds? As long as it wasn't like protein bars and powders and all of that stuff, you probably went after the basic human needs in some form or fashion. So no, you don't have to switch to weight loss. But when I mentioned earlier about the a la carte option, when it comes to, you know, niching and all of that, what I'm saying, yeah, and someone said, what are the seven essentials? I'm glad I put that screen up, is to say, you know, use your general approach when marketing, and then on, like, say on an a la carte menu on your services, it can say, I am an expert at helping people uncover why they can't lose weight. Or you can call yourself weight loss expert or whatever you want to do. But that problem, if it's autoimmunity or if it's this or it's this, it's going to get some relief from the basics. So you don't have to say, I'm a weight loss coach. I mean, then people who want to lose weight are going to come to you, and you're going to lose the people who would say, I just want to eat a meal without having diarrhea, right? You already know how to help people to address digestive issues. Why would you turn them away for help? Okay. Hope that helps. All right. Any book you can recommend? We can read. I can't see the first part of this person's name. Keith, maybe? I don't know. To clients regarding perception of stress. Thank you so much. Happy to be in the Health Coach Mentorship and Mastery. Well, I'm happy to have you. So in the Health Coach Mentorship and Mastery, there is a list called the Pure Gold Resources. There is a book in there called, there's 260 resources in there, and it's a 7 or 8 page guide on how to use those resources. So go into your library on the Mentorship and Mastery platform, not in the Facebook group, but in the business area where you've got hours and hours of training and documents, and go to the Pure Gold Resources, and then go and to Kelly McGonigal, I believe is the name, The Upside of Stress. That is the #1 book I recommend when changing the way that we see stress. It will change your mind. It will shift everything about what you think. All right. Yes, dropping the niche idea is scary, but I feel excited and free. Yay. Good. It's not scary, though. To me, focusing on one thing is scary. If I were a person that's solely focused on, you know, helping people heal leaky gut, and then some doctor said, you're acting like a doctor, that would scare me more than me going, no, I work on all these other things too. And, you know, the bonus of this, the way that I'm helping people is that they lose weight and their leaky gut gets repaired. So I'm not scared of being a health coach. I'd be more scared of niching too tightly and someone seeing me as a specialist, acting as a doctor, a dietitian, a naturopath, or anything that I am not. So try not to be scared of that. Stick with the feeling free and excited part. Let's see here. Love the simplicity. Yes, everything in health coaching is getting so complicated. It drives me bananas. Kim says, makes sense. So crazy. When I first started school and started playing around with program ideas, I was excited about sharing the basics of wellness. Then I started getting training about niching down a signature program goals and started spinning my wheels. You learned a lot, but got overwhelmed and confused, and you're not alone. Yeah, not many people around me know I'm even a certified coach. I didn't want to say or do the wrong thing. That just kills me. That breaks my heart because they probably need you. So now you know, get out there and start telling them you can help them with anything. And if you start with the basics in a low stress way. Could you speak again about what you said about being out of scope? You mentioned apple cider vinegar again, Joel says. Yes. Okay, so here's the deal. When you specifically give protocols and suggestions about food, supplements, treatment plans, modalities, anything, that can be construed as you giving customized care, which puts you in a bracket of, either acting as if you're a dietitian, looking as if like you're a nutritionist, looking like you're acting like a practitioner of any kind. When I said that about apple cider vinegar and HCl, I was using the example that if someone came to me, two people came to me and they had low stomach acid, I know as a health coach and someone who's been through it myself, that these two approaches can help. You can take apple cider vinegar for a week, or you can take HCl with your meals, whatever. Each person that came to me with that problem, I would say, here's an article on apple cider vinegar and how it increases stomach acid. Here's one on the HCl protocol. I highly recommend that you look into each one of these and make a decision on what's best for you. That no longer becomes my decision for them. That's their decision on what to do with it. Here's the information I know can help you, right? But my scope is to say, I'm educating you. You get prepared on what you want to do with it, then you take the action. It's not me saying, take this, do this, and then let me know so I can tweak it and help you make better sense of what you should be taking. So I hope that makes sense. Andre says, I had the same experience. Carmen will set you straight. Yes, I am that person. All right, Fonda says, what do you say to people who are your cheerleaders, but you say, in general, with any profession, you should always have a niche. But say to you, in general, with any profession, you have a niche. I don't care what people say to me. Sorry, that's just me. But okay, you should always have a niche because it's best to be known as an expert at something and be very good at that. And it's easier to refer people to clients or prospects if they understand that you, okay, yeah. And saying you help everyone is broad. It's not, because we already covered. So remember, Fonda, we covered that part. We said, be specific in your terminology. I help people who are struggling to overcome chronic conditions by using a whole food approach. I help people who are plateaued with weight loss that uncover the reasons why that's happening. As far as like people who are your cheerleaders, if they're cheerleading you, they don't need to tell you what to do or how to do it. Thank you for your advice. But you know what? Unless you're someone that's built a health coaching business from the ground up, just stand over there and clap for me and tell anyone that's sick or needs help that I can help them. I don't care what's wrong with them. Tell them they can schedule a 15-minute consultation with me and I'll tell them what I do. It's not anyone else's job to be walking around telling people what you do. They can promote you and be your referrals, but I mean, I just don't depend on people to understand what you do. It's not their job to tell people what you do. They can simply say this, hey, you know what? My friend Fonda is a genius at helping people overcome any kind of condition or problem. I've seen it happen, and she tells me stories. It's just amazing. She does free consultations too. Here's her website. Okay? That's better than anything else that they can do for you. All right, so so I need to give you guys the Mentorship and Mastery. I will plug that in. Hold on a second. The Mentorship and Mastery link for because it's on sale, by the way, and that's not what this is about. But since she asked, it's $4.97 for the year. That's less than 80 cents a day, or $47 a month just to check us out. Okay, I'll put it in here for you. And you said that you were referred to that, Tracy, by SAFM. Yeah, I think maybe you were on the training I did for SAFM. Was it last week or the week before? Anyway, yeah, so the Mentorship and Mastery group is on special right now. It is on sale right now, but we are closing the doors this Friday. So if you want to get into it, you got to sign up now. But hold on a second. I don't want to turn this into a pitching thing. So hang on a second. I can't find it because, oh, there it went. There it is. Hold on. All right, let me plug it into the chat for you, and then we'll get back to the questions. Oh, wow. Okay. There you go. There's a Mentorship and Mastery link for you, Tracy. Okay, and I will record. Again, it's being recorded, you guys. So, okay, bye, Dixie. Sorry you had to leave. Yes, it's being recorded. Oh, okay. I don't know what happened, why we didn't go live in Clarity. It should have been in there because it said I was live in there. But then it also said it was live in Health Coach Mentorship and Mastery too. So maybe it just plugged into there. I don't know. That stinks, but I'll load it into Clarity, no problem. All right, says Carmen, I sincerely thank you. I say I help people find their wings. You've just helped me find mine. You're welcome. I'm so glad. Good. Keep us posted on how you do, Simone. Certified as a primal health coach. Don't think I want to be seen as one, just a health coach. Then don't use that title. You don't have to. You absolutely don't have to. Okay. All right. So back to questions, and then I think that's it. So Ralda said, do you say I recommend, or do you use other words? So I say recommendations and suggestions. I don't say, you know, anything along the lines of do this, do that, that kind of thing. That's not anything I do. It's not, you know, it makes me a little bit nervous. I try to stay within that scope, and I try to just keep it, you know, again, very general, and using, you know, avoid using words like diet, heal, cure, prevent, diagnose, treat, any of those words that you might hear when you're in a doctor's office or you're working with a nutritionist or a dietitian. So yeah, awesome. Oh, good. Thaisa says I'm a member, and it's awesome. I'm so glad. So you guys, basically, when you're finding your why in the business, you know, you're finding your why. It's really secondary to the niche, to ditching that niche, because as you start to drop the idea of the niche, okay, as you start to drop that idea, the reason you're doing this comes back into play, and you do find the why of all of this. And what that looks like is, you know, you start to see people being more relaxed and being less stressed out and feeling more free with working with you. And that is why we're doing this. We're doing this to see results and to spread the word about this not being such a hard thing, right? We want people to see this as a manageable thing. We want people hiring health coaches and, you know, getting in, understanding our profession in a way that makes sense, that they don't feel like, you know, we're trying to be doctors, and doctors don't get offended by us. And people allow health coaches to kind of fill in this wellness gap that exists, because it does, from the client or the patient to the practitioner's office or the doctor. There's a hole right here. And that hole is the 7 essentials. Those are the basics that no one's being taught about. You know, people are walking out of doctor's offices every day with a list of stuff they shouldn't do and shouldn't eat and shouldn't have and all of that. And that is stressful. And people are walking out with bags of supplements that cost hundreds of dollars, and that is stressful. But who's in the middle of that gap that's telling people, listen, let's start with some of these things first. Let's really simplify this process for you and relieve some of that stress. There's no one in that space. And that is so overwhelming and so defeating for people. I mean, it can honestly feel like a noose around someone's neck, because they're trying to listen to their doctor. They don't know what they should believe on Google. They've spent all this money. Where's this person that fits in the middle that helps them make sense of this and makes them not feel so stressed out? Where are they? They're you. That's you, okay? That's you, the health coach. That's the space that you belong in. So Diane is saying, what program makes the most sense for an SAFM graduate and NTC without any formal coaching training? Your IFHC course or mentorship and mastery. I need system and simplicity to do what I love with more ease. It's the Institute's the blueprint. In fact, one of the reasons why Tracy and I started collaborating is because she does the deep dive science stuff that I don't do. I do the basics, get your business going, here's your system, and here's how you're going to take all that amazing information and plug it into a system that works. She and I talked multiple times because we wanted to make sure that we had a good, like a partnership collaboration, something that fit well together. And we both looked at each other's stuff and we were like, oh my gosh, I don't do that and you do that, and I don't do that and you do that. So IFHC is an amazing complement because you're getting the system one step at a time. You're literally getting all of it. The first week we start you off on business building. Health Coach Mentorship and Mastery is your support and your mentorship. And there's absolutely so much information there, but it's like a 16th of what's in the Institute. And I don't walk you through everything on the Mentorship and Mastery. It's out there for you to use and to brand, but it's not even close to the amount of content that you get with the Institute. It is not the step-by-step training that you're going to get in the school. So if that's all you're missing is the coaching training, the Institute is going to fill in those holes for you, okay? Now, the Mentorship and Mastery group, if you're a student, is discounted anyway. So if you become a student, you get a bigger discount on the Mentorship and Mastery group than even just what we're offering today. So, all right, let me see if there's any other questions, and then I'm going to look at Facebook. I don't know where I went live because it said the Clarity book and group, and then it said Mentorship and Mastery, but I don't see it. You guys are right. That stinks. Anyway, again, I mean, this is what happens. It's technology. It looks like it's just sitting still and it's frozen on the live. So it must have been technological glitch due to Facebook. I don't know. But anyway, so I'll plug it in. I'll put it in the Clarity group. I will load the training in there. I will load the training into the Mentorship and Mastery, and I'll load it into your library if you're a student. Do you guys have any other questions? Anything else you want to know about the niche, or anyone that's afraid to drop it? Anyone that the Mentorship for Mastery group with certification, it's $497 for the year, and it's $47 a month. It's across the board. We actually took the $1,200 price down to $497. So that's as big as we go with the discount. Again, that's where I live. So if you're someone that feels like you need someone to kind of help answer questions and keep you scooting along and not let you sit paralyzed in a situation, that is the place to go. So yes, it's all explained on the sales page. And we also have a comparison chart that we'll send out with the replay of this recording as well that can show you the difference between the two. So anyway, with that said, if you don't have any other questions, I hope this was helpful for you guys. I want to see people coaching. And if this is something that has kept you back, held you back from coaching, I'm really hoping that I've kind of nudged you over the edge and that you are going to get out there and maybe go over and look at all of your stuff, you guys. Look at your content. Look at what you're saying and writing. Look at you know, how you're working with your clients right now. Think about if you're overwhelming them. What's your first step with working with your clients? You know, when you get that intake form back, what are you doing that is going to give them hope and make them feel positive about the experience they're about to have with you? Throwing a bunch of information at them and a lot of steps and action steps and taking away the things that they love, that is not going to create sustainable change. It's not going to. You're going to see that person fall off the wagon, maybe reach back out to you later on, or go find someone else that can help them in a more manageable way. And since I'm telling you it's manageable to do it this way, I can tell you that because I've done it. I really hope that you try this approach, because it can change your business. It can change someone's life. So, all right, you guys, you're welcome. And thanks so much for jumping on. And, you know, I'll get the link out there and we'll do the replay, and I'll start sharing the recording in all the groups. So thank you so much. And again, instituteforfunctionalhealthcoaching.com if you want to look at anything we offer. Happy to answer any questions, set up a sales call, talk about the school. We like to have conversations. So thanks again, everybody. See you later. Have a wonderful day.